Good morning, and thankfully the sun is out this morning. It's 10 degrees colder and it feels 10 degrees warmer, so that's hopefully a good thing, although it is going to be windy and we'll have to battle that, but I will take the sun any day. I live in Wichita, Kansas, which is generally a sunny and windy place. I grew up in Ohio, which is usually not as windy and cloudy, and so I prefer the sun. I love Ohio, but I prefer the sun of Wichita, Kansas most of the time. Okay, a few things this morning. So my hotel was on Wilma Rudolph Boulevard, and how many of you know that name right off? It's a track and field thing, but an Olympic thing, in terms of how she's known. She was a world record sprinter and overcame all kinds of adversity to break those records and become one of the great sprinters way back in the day, early days of women's track and field. So that's kind of cool that I was staying on Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. The hotel was, very inexpensive. So you get what you pay for, but the bed, yes, was good. It was clean. The shower, I had a little issue with the shower. It was not the best water pressure. And the towel, I had to use my own towel. And it was close though, kind of borderline, but on the other side, just not quite good enough. And then the coffee, the breakfast overall was not, I didn't even have anything, but I'll give it a check for the coffee. The other ones was close. So we're going to go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5. And for when you're paying as little as I paid, that's not too bad really. Here's something that I've learned, and I don't know if it's true every time, but it might be something that I get gas every morning. And just no matter where I'm at, I just go ahead and fill it up, and maybe I'll grab a coffee or grab, something to eat, or something kind of snack for the day. And I've found that if you pull up to a place and the gas pump is not working, or one of the gas pumps isn't working, it's a good sign that what's going on the inside of the store isn't that great either, especially when you're looking for some, decent food at a gas station, because some gas stations are great with what they have to eat in the morning, and some are not. And so I pulled up to a gas station across the street from where I'm at right now, and then I go, and it just had like a pump not working, out of service. And it wasn't just like they have like a little yellow thing over it, was just like the electronics of it didn't work. So I'm thinking, you know what, there's a gas station literally across the street, let me come over here. And pump's working, and I go in, and it's a terrific, inside the gas station. If you travel a lot, you know what I'm talking about. And coffee's good. They have all kinds of different breakfast items, and so good choice. I won't mention where I left Shell, and then but I came over here to High Road, and I think it's an Exxon station. On this trip, I'm only filling up $15 to $25 a day to get back up to full. So it's not bad really. And the gas prices have been under $3 here in, I say they're in Missouri, and now I'm in Tennessee. Man, I'm going through the states quick, so I got to keep up. So that's where I'm kind of like at the moment. I'm assuming it might get a little more expensive as we head down towards Florida, but yeah, we'll see. Interesting kind of process to figure out what I was going to do today. And I'm basically on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee up here, Clarksville. And I had nothing planned for today, literally nothing. And I was, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I'm just going to find some interesting places and go from north to south. Tennessee isn't that big of a state. From north to the south, it is from east to west. But north to south, it's not that far. So I thought that could be something I'd do. And it was pretty late last night, and I'm tired, and I'm kind of half falling asleep. And then I just pull out my gazetteer map, and I'm like, where is a road that kind of goes all the way through? And I'm on, there's different roads connect right here, but Tennessee State Route 13, I saw, goes from the northern part of the state all the way to the southern part of the state. It's like 160 miles. And I started looking at that, and it's a lot of rural driving and some winding roads, and I thought that's kind of my thing. And then I'm just looking at some of the towns, and then I noticed there's one called like Hurricane Mills. That's kind of interesting. And I just click on it, and sure enough, it's the home of Loretta Lynn. And that's a pretty cool stop if you're in Tennessee. And I wouldn't have even thought about going there if I wasn't just kind of picking a random road. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm just gonna literally, basically like I would do on US 50, but I'm just gonna take Tennessee State Route 13 and through the entire state of Tennessee and see what we find, run through a few towns, hopefully make one video, maybe make two if there's some other interesting town I come through. This is a long rant. Hopefully you're still hanging in there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get today started and head towards Alabama. Well, I've been exploring down this Tennessee 13 road, and it's been awesome, actually. The very windy, very hilly, some pretty cool little towns. I think I'm gonna run out of daylight, which not the worst thing in the world. It just gets, I keep saying it, just keeps getting dark so early out here. And it gets to be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and you don't think much about it because you think I still got the whole afternoon. You got a couple hours and then it's dark. So I just got to places and kept exploring around them and went to Loretta Lynn's place, and I spent probably a good hour hanging out there. But we're getting there. We're not too far from Alabama. I don't have a hotel room tonight. I didn't really know how this would go or how far I would go. But I'm thinking I'll probably go down towards Birmingham maybe, but not sure. But stay focused on trying to get this done and get to Alabama. I'm not even sure how far I have to go in terms of the miles. I just have, this much of the map left. And so it's kind of more fun not knowing exactly how many miles or how long that's supposed to take, because if so I might get disappointed that it's going to be dark before I get there. So, but yeah, we're cruising on through Tennessee, having a nice day. I got done with my video about Tennessee on Route 13 and it got dark. So we are in Alabama and I don't have a place to stay. I'm near Florence, Alabama. So I think I'm gonna roll in here. It's after 5:15. Maybe I'll grab some food and try to figure out the plan for tomorrow. I've got a little bit of an idea of a few places I want to go tomorrow, but just when you're going state to state or every day like this, you get a little bit confused if you don't sit down and really analyze it. And I don't like to get too far ahead when I'm really looking at it close, because it's easy to confuse town. Like if I was reading histories about different towns I want to go to, I'll get them all mixed up the next day. So I'll maybe glance at stuff, get an idea, and then on the day of the trip I'll be looking at things closer as I get to the places. So right now, I had originally thought about going to Birmingham, because it's kind of the middle of the state. It's a little bit of a drive from here, I think, but if I'm remembering right, some of the places I might want to see tomorrow are more on the western side of the state, so maybe I want to stay over here and see what's available over here if I just keep heading south. So I don't know, I'm gonna try to find somewhere to eat and figure it out. Florence is a lively place. I've never been to Florence, Alabama. There was literally a sign, Key West, and I thought that was appropriate. The one place I stop in here in Florence is directing me to Key West. That's the objective here. I had two things that were kind of funny. One, I got invited to a drag show across the street. Told him I didn't have time. I was on a tight schedule here. But the other thing is, I was wearing Wichita State hoodie, and obviously Alabama football rules. And a guy, he said, "So how's your football team there at Wichita State?" I go, "We don't have a football team." And he turned to his buddy, said, "Timmy?" I think that's against the law in Alabama. So I was in the tavern there having my fancy hot dog. I booked a room in Hamilton, Alabama. So it's about an hour away, and just a regular old hotel, kind of chain hotel. There weren't a lot of options. Hamilton's over not too far from Mississippi here on the western side, and yeah, about 7,000 people I think in that town. So fairly small town. And yeah, so it's 6:30, so I get there about 7:30 and just kind of get settled in. So these days they make you a little bit tired one after another. You know, you do one every once in a while, but it's not too bad. But then if you stack them up day after day, you get pretty tired. I don't feel too bad. I usually feel I feel really good in the morning, kind of until the early afternoon, and then I get a little bit tired in the early afternoon, and then I usually feel, I always feel good in the evening. I'm kind of a night owl. Good morning. We are in Alabama, in Hamilton, Alabama. Actually, we just left Hamilton, Alabama. I saw a gas station on the east side towards where I was going to go first, and it's 5 miles kind of past any other gas station. And I pull up, and every single pump has a trash bag over it. I was making the joke yesterday about, going to a gas station where the pumps don't work, and literally every single pump didn't work at this gas station. So I'm just going to go on to where my first stop is. It's a town called Natural Bridge, Alabama, and I think there's a gas station there, so I'm just going to go there. I've got plenty of gas, but I like to start my day with a full tank of gas. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do today, and I thought, there's a couple places I thought about, that I thought about going to, and but I thought, like yesterday was a long day, and I'd like to have a little easier day today, actually. And so I was like, maybe I'll do like a small town USA video that takes an hour or two. Maybe I'll do 2 of those, or I'll find a couple ghost towns or something. And I was just having trouble, figuring out where I was going to go. I was looking and couldn't find kind of the towns I really wanted to, the type of towns I really wanted to profile. And then I just kept coming across towns with weird names. And so the first town is called Natural Bridge. That's, I don't know if you call that a weird name. It's definitely an unusual name. And then I would see another one. There's another town near here called Brilliant. And so I was like, maybe I'll just go to some towns that have weird names. And so I started taking notes, and in this part of Alabama, I'm looking at the map, and I'm thinking as I'm working my way down towards Florida, there's some interesting names, and I don't know much about some of the towns, and I'll make a video about weird named towns. And that sounds maybe a little cheesy, but I'm also kind of curious as to what some of these towns look like. And some of them are ghost towns, basically, and some of them are regular towns. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's going to be my video that I'm going to work on today. And so I'm also going to be going through some towns with normal names, and I'll show you those as I go through those on this kind of the behind the scenes segment. And then I was also hoping to maybe go to Selma, Alabama. That's a very historical town, and I wasn't going to make any kind of video about Selma. That's been done. I mean, there's been movies made about it. There's been all kinds of stuff. I just wanted to visit because I've never been there before. So I'll put that on this version here, and you guys can see what Selma, Alabama looks like, because I know there's a lot of historical buildings and a lot of stuff happened there. So yeah, but I'm working my way down to Florida. I don't have a place to stay, so whether I stay here in Alabama one more night or go on into kind of the panhandle of Florida. All fueled up and ready to go here in Alabama. The gas pumps worked, but they didn't have any coffee, and I did have a little bit of coffee at the hotel. By the way, the ratings, for the Days Inn, that was maybe the nicest Days Inn by appearance I've ever seen. So definitely very clean, very comfortable bed. Shower pressure, nope. And towel, nope. And then they had a breakfast, and I got a coffee. I'm gonna give it a passing grade, but it just said it was a little cup. You know, I wanted kind of a little larger cup, so I was looking for another, you know, get some more coffee. So I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5, although it's very nice. So that, if that is important to you. So anyways, also in the bathroom, I use the bathroom here, and gotta love the old school things you can buy in the bathroom. Anyways, I'm ready for a good day. So I just went to Natural Bridge, which was great. The town was cool, and it would have been, if I was doing 10 smallest towns in Alabama, it would be on the list. But they also had the Natural Bridge Park, and that was awesome. And I could have spent a long time there. It's one of those deals where it's like, how much time do I spend here? Because I want to get to some of these other places. But it's one of the, I wouldn't say negatives, but you know, I do have a time schedule I got to keep, and I do want to go to a few other places to make a video, and so that's one of the negatives. But yeah, heading now through the back roads over to the town of Brilliant, or Alabama. I love that there's so many interesting names in Alabama. Whenever you get a new rental car, you know, something you haven't had before, things are annoying until you know how to turn switches off or to turn alerts off. This one is annoying because if sometimes I leave the car running and I just hop out real quick, take a picture or video, and you know, then hop right back in. I literally am not but a few feet from the car. If it's still running and I have the keys in my pocket, this is what this vehicle does. So you can imagine me being in a town or at night where there's like hardly anyone, or it's very quiet, and all of a sudden I'm honking in the middle of literally nowhere. So I've had a few people kind of, you know, do one of these, and I'm like, sorry, come on. What is this, Equinox? Yeah, that's pretty annoying. I'm gonna change up my plans a little bit. I'm gonna drive down to Selma, which I definitely want to just check out. I don't think I'm going to do a video about Selma. I'm just going to drive down there. And as in researching the unusual town names, I found some others that were not too far from that area. So now I'm thinking I'm going to do 2 videos about unusual town names from Alabama. And so I'm going to go down and stay in Selma tonight. You know, I got to hustle a little bit in the next few days because I do have to get to Fort Lauderdale on Friday. Today is Tuesday, and you might think, well, we got plenty of time. But I'm also trying to film things in between, and you notice I'm really struggling to kind of keep the pace to get everything I want to get accomplished. This church caught my eye, the Overcoming Deliverance Church of today. It just makes me think of the movie Deliverance. I don't know, made me laugh. driving around downtown Selma, and it's pretty interesting. But gonna come back in the morning and drive around and look at some of the old buildings. I'm not gonna spend a ton of time here, but definitely want to see some of the historical places, and I'm just gonna do that in the morning. Not gonna do a big video about it, but just kind of show you guys here. Pretty interesting what you can see here in the evening, and obviously a lot of stuff happened here. So I've got quite a bit to do today, and so I'm gonna just head down to the downtown area and check out some of the historical buildings, and then head on to some more unusual town names in Alabama. But yeah, hotel 3 out of 5. So comfortable, clean, shower pressure real good. The towel, nope, and they didn't even have coffee, so the coffee wasn't very good. Now you could have made some in your room. It had a little thing in the room, but yeah, I'm looking for something that I don't have to make in the morning. So anyways, let's check out Selma, and then we'll get on the road. I'm really glad I came to visit Selma, and no idea about how to make an actual video. I don't make videos about cities, this big, it's not that big, 17,000 people, but it's got so much to it. You need days to explore it, and there's so many old buildings and historical places, and my knowledge of Selma is not the best. I wouldn't tell a very good story about it. But definitely worth coming to see if you're into history, and for lots of different reasons. It's probably good to come and visit. But if you're interested in just like architecture and the historical old buildings and all that kind of stuff, there's stuff like that everywhere. Obviously, there's the civil rights history that happened here, and that is, you see that all around town as well. I'm sitting here next to this Civil Rights Park, Civil Rights Memorial Park, and like I said, you could take days to try to explore it. So I just drove around. I looked at a bunch of the old buildings, and I tried to see what I could see without getting too distracted. I'm got a whole full day. I'm trying to end up somewhere down in Florida today, so I can't spend too long here. I'm already spent a good hour exploring around Selma. So really interesting. The bad part, or I guess negative, when you look at the numbers, is that it used to have almost 30,000 people, and now it's down to like 17,000. So it's not a ghost town, but it's lost like 40% of its population, and that's not a good trend. And hopefully it doesn't go much below that, or it can have some sort of a resurgence that way. But it has a lot of old empty buildings. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's got a bright future. I know it's had a very complicated past. Today I'm going to be doing some more unusual Alabama town names, and the first town we're going to is Pineapple. And it's not because of a pineapple, it's because of pine and apple. They had both pine trees maybe and apple trees, so it's Pineapple, the name of the town. So it looked pretty interesting online. Actually, I only have a couple towns. I need to find another one, but I'm assuming it's not going to be too hard to find an unusually named town in Alabama down here. So that's what I'm gonna do today, and then I'm gonna head down across into Florida. I'm gonna go to my first smallest town, and Bascom, Florida, Bascom, and start working my way down towards Fort Lauderdale in the next couple days here, because that's where I need to be to pick up my brother that he'll be flying in, and we'll be heading to Key West. seems like every town I'm meeting someone from Alabama here. Very friendly. Everybody likes to shake your hand and introduce themselves, and that's just kind of the way it is down here. So it's pretty nice, and they'll tell you all about their town, and they're excited for you to be here. So that was cool. It's a little bit of a drive. I got more driving in between things today, and I certainly have to get to the one town in Florida to do the 10 smallest towns, first video. I picked out my shirt for that video because, it's always the same no matter what day it is. So it's the continuity of that video. And so it's going to be Natural Bridge. I like that shirt. Just got it. So you'll be seeing that one. Or you may have already saw it. If not, go watch that. That was a good video. Couple of interesting towns today in Alabama. Alabama's been fun for a couple of days. I've been here, I've come to Birmingham a bunch for track and field, but I haven't really been able to explore around the rural parts of Alabama, and there's a lot of them. There is a lot of abandoned buildings in Alabama. I mean, I kind of like it because, I don't know, I like that kind of stuff because they feel historic, but there's just a lot of them. And so many times there's just a church or cemetery or both. That's about it. And not many houses, but there's churches everywhere.